Nebraska has locked in on their top 3 prospects at tight end and their top 3 prospects at running back. Where does Nebraska sit with each one of them? We're going to dive into that here in just a moment. But before we do that, if you could, a simple like and a simple click of that subscribe button would be extremely helpful for us. And then let me know your thoughts down in the comments as well. As we progress throughout this video, I don't know what your thoughts are on each player. If you got questions, let me know. I'm usually pretty quick to get back to comments on the YouTube channel. Now, the first guy we're going to dive in at tight end is Luke Sorenson. Here's the thing with Luke. I liked where Nebraska was 2 months ago. I liked where Nebraska was 3 weeks ago, 4 weeks ago. But there's a team surging in his recruitment that is going to be a huge threat to Nebraska. So a little bit about Luke Sorenson, 3 or 4 star, depending on your service. He's a composite 3-star. Good size, 6'4", 240 pounds. He's from California. Really versatile tight end, can be an inline tight end, can be split out in the slot as well. The big teams to focus on here: UCLA, Nebraska, Penn State. Ole Miss is certainly a factor. He just came back from an official visit to Ole Miss. He's at UCLA this weekend, and then he's going to be swinging by Nebraska next weekend. I believe it's May 16th-ish is when he's tentatively scheduled. It hasn't been locked in, but that's likely when it's going to be. And then after that, he's going to Penn State. And that is our biggest competition for Luke Sorenson. Before Penn State really started to surge in his recruitment, I would have said it had been Nebraska or UCLA. Right now, I'd say it's Nebraska or Penn State. And Penn State is selling him on the success that they've had at tight end, not only with Tyler Warren, but with all their tight ends. They've had a consistent track record of elite or really good tight end play and getting tight ends to the NFL. You have to think, too, back to Tyler Warren, he was a converted quarterback before he arrived, or once he arrived to Penn State. He just won the Mackey Award. He just was a first-round draft pick. He's a consensus, first-team All-American, if I'm not mistaken. So that is what they're selling Luke on, is what their track record is and what they just did with Tyler Warren. And from a Nebraska standpoint, take off your rose-colored glasses and let's take a big picture look here. Let's sit back. Okay, Thomas Fidone, pretty good tight end in college, was a 6th, 7th-round draft pick. Who else? Austin Allen. He was all conference 1 year. Went undrafted. Didn't make it in the NFL. But he was a pretty good college tight end. Travis Vokolek. He was okay. In fact, he's probably had the better career of Austin Allen and him when they were on their team at the same time. Travis Vokolek is the one that's still in the NFL. He's playing at Arizona now. But who else? We don't have the track record that Penn State has. So how do you combat their consistent track record versus our poor track record or not good track record? You sell them on the vision. You go to these tight ends, and then Luke in this case, and you say, look, we're changing our offense. This is what it's going to look like. This is how you're going to fit. This is who's throwing you the ball. You're going to have Dylan Raiola or TJ Lateef or Trey Taylor. And you sell them on that vision. Like Trey said, you when you go on these visits, you can't be in the moment. You have to look at the vision. Where are things going when I arrive? That is what you sell Luke Sorenson on. So who else is Nebraska recruiting at tight end? Now, this guy is probably the most likely of the 3 tight ends they've honed in on to be a Husker. That's Camden Jensen from Colorado, 6'6", 6'7", 240 to 250 pounds. He's visited Nebraska multiple times. He's got a locked-in scheduled official visit on June 20th. Keep an eye out for that. We said it in our wide receiver breakdown video. That is a big weekend for Nebraska recruiting. Now, other suitors, UCLA, Florida, Missouri, keep tabs on North Carolina. That was his dream school coming out of high school. Now, North Carolina just did get a commitment from a tight end, so maybe that changes things with him a little bit. Keep an eye out for Texas A&M. Keep an eye out for Washington. But when everything is said and done, I think it's going to come down to Nebraska and Florida, maybe UCLA, maybe Missouri. But I really think this is a Florida-Nebraska battle here in the coming months. I like where we're sitting right now. It's hard to get a great read on Camden Jensen, but when I think about the familiarity he has with Nebraska's program, they've been recruiting him a long time. Tanner Church is on the team. Tanner Church played in high school with Camden Jensen. They're on the same team. So did Rex Guthrie. They were all on the same team together. So he has a chance to kind of but he has a chance to, play with his former high school teammates. That's really important. A lot of these guys love to play with their high school teammates at the collegiate level. Now, our other tight end, our final tight end on the board is Lincoln Watkins. 3 or 4 star, kind of depends on your service. Rivals has him as a 4-star. Lincoln Watkins, by the time everything's said and done, is going to be a consensus 4-star recruit. Really good size. He's 6'4", 235 pounds. Nebraska offered him in January. He's got official visits to NC State on June 6th, Indiana on June 16th, Nebraska on June 20th. Those 3 visits are important to note. Why? Because Florida offered him in April, I believe it was, and now they are surging in his recruitment. They are pushing very hard to get Lincoln Watkins. And when does he want to visit them? June for an official visit. So does he drop one of those 3 schools? And if so, who? I don't think it's going to be Nebraska. I like where they sit. They've been recruiting him hard for a very long time. But keep your eye out for Florida. Keep your eye out for Miami, Duke, and guess who? Penn State. Let's say we beat out Penn State for Luke Sorenson. Guess where they're turning? They're going to go push for Lincoln Watkins. I guarantee it. Now, at the running back position, we've got 3 guys that we're recruiting that they've really honed in on their top 3, but really it's a top 2. We're going to cover the top 2 running backs first, and then we'll finish it out with the 3rd running back. Our top running back on our board is Zephan Walker, consensus 4-star recruit. Big time running back target, 5'10", 180 pounds. Right now, it's going to be a battle between KU, Notre Dame, and Nebraska. K-State might make a push, but I don't think so. I think it's going to come down to KU, Nebraska, and Notre Dame. He's got an official visit set up for Nebraska on June 20th. EJ Barthel just went in home with Walker on Thursday. Like I said, similar to, remember the wide receiver video, is looking at those guys' boards. You see a lot of regional schools, and then the outlier was Nebraska. Well, what do we notice with this Zephan Walker? His top schools are KU, and he's from Missouri, Raymore Peculiar. You got KU, Notre Dame, Nebraska. All those are regional schools. All those are close to family. So Zephan wants to stay close to home. He visited Nebraska in September of 2024 and on a few other occasions. The big thing here is I think KU is sneakily going to make a move here. They can offer very early playing time. And if that's important to him, that may win out. However, I like where Nebraska's sitting. I like our connections to Kansas City. I like that Jamar Mosey has been on to Zephan Walker for a very long time. I like that Nebraska has been on to Zephan Walker for over 2 years. They offered him 2 years ago. I think it was May 16th, 2023 when they offered to Zephan Walker. They've known about him since the beginning. I like our chances to land to Zephan Walker. But if we don't, who's the next running back they're going to go to? It's going to be this gentleman right here, Jamal Rule. 6 foot, 205 pound running back. He's from the East Coast. Your big competition is going to be Boston College, Wisconsin, NC State, and then Nebraska. That kind of rounds out his top 4. His official visit to Nebraska is on June 13th. Now, EJ Barthel just went in home with him on Thursday or Friday. I can't remember which day. So I like where we're sitting right now. I think Nebraska is going to make a big push here once he comes for his official visit on June 13th. If I had to make a guess right now, I'd say his home state school, NC State and Nebraska, are going to be essentially the final 2 on his board. And our last running back is consensus 4-star running back Brian Bonner from California. The reason why I did this one last is I don't care that he's a top 5 and Nebraska is on his top 5. I just want to be real with you. Don't get hyped up. Nebraska is not getting Brian Bonner. Notre Dame, UCLA, Penn State, Washington, Nebraska. If I had to make a bet right now, He's either going to go to UCLA or Notre Dame. I don't think Nebraska has much of a chance right now. Now, he's got an official visit on June 6th. A lot can happen on that. So as things sit right now, I don't think we have a great chance. But talk to me after June 6th, that things could change a little bit. Now, he just did have an in-home visit this week as well. By all accounts, it went great. Just want to be transparent. Don't get your hopes up. The Nebraska lands Brian Bonner. If I had to make a guess right now between the three guys we just talked about, Walker would be option 1, Rule would be 2, and then I wouldn't consider Brian Bonner. Of the tight ends, just to kind of recap, Camden Jensen, I think, is our top target. I think we're in a great spot with Camden. I think we're in a great spot with Lincoln Watkins. Sorenson's going to be a tough one to get. Do we have a chance? Absolutely. But between these two position groups, Nebraska could have 2 to 4 very good prospects for the foreseeable future. That's all I've got for today. Stay tuned. We will see you Monday night. Just a reminder, Monday night, Huskers Live, not Tuesday like usual because I have to work late Tuesday. So we will see you all Monday night.